Hey guys, this is IXRollOutIX with LEGO Pacific Rim Gypsy Danger. Now, when I decided to make the Gypsy Danger, I could have gone about it several different ways, the first of which being I could have made him a lot bigger. I decided to make him in sort of the same size spectrum as all of my other mecha, all of my Zoids and my Gundams. However, here's a little bit of a comparison with my Gundam age. He's a bit bigger, but in the fiction, the Gundam would come to about here on the Gypsy Danger. He is a very, very big robot in comparison to this guy. So, that said, because he's a bigger robot, he has a lot more detail. And because I built him in this size, he looks very, very simplified. Now, he may come across looking a little inaccurate in some places, but I just had to work with the space I was given at this scale. However, I still believe he's very recognizable as the Gypsy Danger, if nothing else. You can see he's got most of the details, and just looking at him like this, he's the Gypsy Danger, and you see that. However, look at him a little closer and look at the design of the Gypsy Danger a little closer, and he's a bit inaccurate in some places. But let's just take a look at him. He's got the nuclear reactor chest piece, sort of the staple of this whole design. The arms, he's got sort of some of the key details. He's missing all white in the design. He has some red and white stripes on the actual design, and if I were to add white, I believe it would just be too noticeable. Red is a very low-key color in comparison to the gray, so it works, but white is just too bright. I made him the gray color instead of sort of a blue. Most of the scenes in the movie seem to be in like the darkness or in the rain, so he looks like this anyway, and I think it works. The visor here, just because of the scale, unfortunately goes all the way around, so when he's looking this way, that's fine, but you turn it this way and it kind of looks like he's awkwardly looking this way as well. So just look at him from the proper angle and it should be fine. The legs here, coming around to the back. Sort of got some details on the back here. Sort of ugly looking back of the plates there, but whatever, that's fine. He's got the flaps, sort of the cowl. It's a little bit far away from his head, unfortunately, but just the way this is built, there's really no way I could move it back any further. It does have the vents. Now you'll notice the chest sort of has this angle to it. And because of that, the arms are set a little far back. I had to put them on these hinges here so that they weren't tilted back all the time and so that they were flush. And because of that, they couldn't have any in and out movement. However, originally, because of the fact that they can't really move in and out, they sort of hugged the body. So I did this neat little technique with a robot arm and a clip, along with sort of a fireman's hose, which is thicker at the top than it is at the bottom, and that allows it to sit at an angle sort of outward, which is really cool. Also, it can't really naturally move in and out, but you can slide the robot arm out and reattach it and sort of get an outward movement for display. So I think that's pretty neat. Speaking of which, let's go into the base articulation of this guy. His head rotates. That's pretty much a given. The arms go forward and back and rotate like this, and also, again, if you take them off and reposition them, they can go in and out. He has a rotation here, and he bends at the elbow, and he also has a little bit of movement in the wrist. The waist rotates. It's a very free movement. It's on this rod here, however, so it really won't fall apart unless you pull it apart. You'll notice the waist kind of looks a little thin. That's just to retain all the movement of the legs. That's one really big problem with the toy. The waist is kind of too thick and the legs cannot go out at all because of this armor here. I wanted to avoid that, and also just didn't want him to look too bulky. And from most angles, I think he looks fine, even with the slightly thin waist. The legs go forward and back, and in and out. They bend at the knee, rotate at the knee, and then the ankles here have a fair bit of movement. They go in and out like that. They kind of have a tilt, forward and back, and then they rotate down here. Sometimes this joint where the T attaches to the brick there can be a bit tight, and it kind of rips the T out of the little clips. So yeah, some places he's kind of fragile, like these arms, if you move it wrong, will come off very easily. That's just something you kind of have to deal with. So features on this guy, other than posability, obviously. Turn him around to the back. He's got some clips here and some clips in his elbows. He's a very big robot. He needs a little help to jump. So, well, again, a little bit of fragileness. You can see there's a hinge in there, but he's got little boosters to help him jump. Let's just attach this on like that. So yeah, those just clip on here, like that. All right, then he has his elbow rocket. There's nothing better on a giant robot than their rocket-powered fists. So he's sort of got the classic homage thing going on there with the rocket-powered punch, and that's very cool. He also has some jumper plates on his hands. So you can attach his chain swords. They sort of come out of his wrists or his knuckles or somewhere. But this sort of just represents that. He has two of them there, so that's pretty cool. And the last little accessory I made for him, very cool. It only really appears in, I think, one scene in the trailers and probably in the movie. I haven't seen the movie yet, but just pull these off here for him because I think it's a very cool little clip from the trailers. I made an oil tanker. Very huge ship. Kind of gives sort of a sense of scale. This is like a massive oil tanker, and here's the Gipsy Danger. Very huge robot, but you got little studs there for him to hold onto it. In the trailer, if you're not aware, there's this scene where the Gipsy Danger is walking through the city, dragging this giant boat out of the water, and he picks it up and he bashes a giant monster with it. It's a very, very cool scene, very memorable, and so I built this boat to sort of represent that. You can hold on to it like this and drag it like this. Or you can have him hold it sort of like a weapon there. And hit giant monsters over the head with it. So that's really cool. Final comparison here. Here he is with a minifigure. So, that is about it, guys, and this is IXRollOutIX, signing off.